Hi guys! Last week we learnt about Daniel. Daniel and his friends were taken captive in Babylon. In the new country, people worshipped idols. Daniel and his friends refused to eat the food that was offered to the idols. Instead, they only ate vegetables and fruits. 10 days later, they looked even healthier than the people who ate the king's food. From last week's story, we learnt that we should stand for what is right no matter how hard. Last week's memory verse comes from the book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 33, and it says, "But more than anything else, put God's work first, do what He wants, and other things will be yours as well."
So today we want to say good morning in a different way, shall we?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
That was an advertisement when I was a little young girl. That was years ago. You guys have something interesting in your hands?
Yes.
What's that? What do you feel like when you wave a fan?
Moving air.
Makes me relax. When it's a hot and sunny day, it cools me down with some wind.
It does, right? Because you can feel the wind. Have you ever caught the wind?
No.
Can you catch the wind?
Sure. No.
You can't catch the wind. And last week we talked about some of the things that we're sure are there no matter what. One of the things that we're sure that doesn't change is the wind is there. It's everywhere we go. We can see the trees swaying. Sometimes it's so loud you feel like somebody's whistling. And sometimes you can actually hear the wind, you're like, And the wind is there, but we can't see it. So one of the truths I want us to discuss today, that we can't see, we can't even say where He is, but we know that God is here with us every single day, everywhere we go, that He never leaves us.
Did you know I went somewhere and the wind made music?
I did, yeah? Like with the chimes and all?
Yes.
I know, wind is creative. And so one of the things that we're sure of is that God is with us. We've been talking about Daniel, Shadrack, Meshack, and Abednego. And you know what? Today we're going to talk about the three of them, Shadrack, Meshack, and
Abednego.
And the three friends decided they would always stand for the right thing. Now, sometimes standing for the right thing isn't always easy. You know, sometimes it sounds easy, like you just stand for the right thing. But it's not always easy. And sometimes we get in trouble for standing for the right thing.
Yeah.
So the king, remember, they were not in their home. They were in captivity. They're in captivity. And in captivity, it means the people in that land expected them to do what they were doing. The people in that land were worshipping idols, including the king himself. He himself worshipped idols. So he built this idol, and he expected that Shadrach, Meshack, and Abednego would worship. And so they didn't. They refused. They said, in our country, there was only one God. And the king was furious. He's like, no, when I say, you do. You don't question me. And this guy said, no. We respect you, but we will worship only one God. And the king was furious. You know, furious like they didn't just, as in they, And the king said, you know what? You guys worship or I punish you. Now they're given the opportunity. They were told, choose. And know what I hear in my head? Like a drum roll, like ding, 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 and the king said, what have you decided? And I liked what they said.
They said that
Aria and I are going to play the track, like when you're saying that. So, Aria, let's go. Dun, 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 dun.
And you know what he said exactly before that? He said that.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wait. So King Nebucadnezzar said that. Defend yourselves. Like, do you think God will defend you if you're thrown into that fire?
Yeah.
And now play the music and I'll answer.
Let's go. Dun, 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 dun.
We will not defend ourselves against you, because we know that our God can and will save us. And you know what they said after that? They said, and even if he doesn't, we will never worship or serve your gods.
That's brave.
Yeah.
That's really, really brave. I remember when I was in school, most of my life, all of my life, I was a prefect. And that meant sometimes telling the teachers the truth that nobody else wanted to say. And, you'd be called in high school, you'd be called a snitch. And in primary school, guys would hate you for would hate you for writing noisemakers. And yet the teacher would come and say, who was making noise? Now I had to either lie to the teacher or give her a list. And when I gave her the list, the people who were in the list, they hated me. And so sometimes doing the right thing is not as easy. Yeah? Do you guys have any situations where you had to make a decision, do the right thing, and you got in trouble for it?
Yeah. When I was in high school, in Form 4, the people in Form 4 weren't treating other people really nicely. They were talking to people who were younger than them really badly and cutting them in the lines and doing all sorts of really bad things. And some prefects asked some of us who weren't prefects to talk to our friends and tell them. So they were called for a meeting and we talked to them. And some friends felt like we were betraying them, like we were siding with the prefects instead of the people. So it was a few days before we closed school, but in those few days it was really hard because your friends turned, they were talking bad about you, saying really bad things. And it felt really hard. But we knew that they had to be told that what they were doing is wrong. And so we still told them no matter how painful and hard it was.
And sometimes, Aria, you're going to find yourself in situations where you have to stand for the right thing. And sometimes standing for the right thing is going to mean that you get in trouble. Yeah? And these guys decided, you know what? If we ban, we ban. If God saves us, amen.
Amen.
And so the king told his guys to tie them up so that they wouldn't get free and throw them in the fire. I'm sure they were afraid. I'm sure they didn't know if God was going to save them or they were going to burn and go to heaven. They didn't know what was going to happen. I'm sure they were afraid. And they were thrown into the fire.
I had even the soldiers who were throwing them into the fire got burnt because he said that it should be 7 times.
I know, right?
More degrees.
As in they put 7 times the amount of fire and it was hot.
So
now
even
guess
the
what
ones
happened?
throwing them in.
As in the guys who are throwing them in,
They got burnt.
They got burnt. The ones who are throwing them in. Now, do you know what happened to the 3 friends? Oh, this is such an intense moment. It needs a song. Let's just dance first, then we find out what happened.
Okay.
I feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. It's the power to move any star. It's the power to heal your broken heart. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. 'Cause God is here and He
So there the king was, standing looking in and like, they're going to ban for not worshipping me. Then there's someone like, see, we threw 3 people inside. How come there are 4?
I know.
And they're walking around like they weren't
As in, they're
tied
no
up
longer
anymore.
tied.
Wow.
The king was astonished. In fact, the king was like, wait, what am I seeing? You know when you look when you're shocked. Have you ever been shocked when you see something and you're like,
Like that. Like that.
And then the servant was like, and one of them seems to be the son of God, one of God's sons, an angel.
and it was amazing. There were 4 of them. God had sent an angel to come and protect them. And so the king said, "Hey, come out." And so they came and they were thinking like they'll be smoking. You know when you come out and you're smoking and you're burnt and you're black and you're... There was not even a hint of smoke on them.
You remember in cartoons the way superheroes would blow up something and then turn and walk and watch it explode behind them?
You know?
They just walk like,
I know, right? So these guys
Aria.
walked out and they're like, wait, they were not burnt. Do you know why? God was with them. God was with them. Even in the fiery furnace, God was with them.
that was a very good story.
It was, because the king learned that, you know what?
There's only
These
one.
guys are worshipping the true God. And he bowed down and he said, you know what? Your God is real.
Yeah.
Your God is real.
And you know, it feels nice to know that if God could take care of them in the fire, then if I do something nice, even if it's small and I'm scared that I'll get in trouble and it's something good, I think I can trust in God. I trust that He'll be there for me.
Yeah.
Because God is with us. Even when we can't see him, God is with us. Always. Yeah?
Yeah.
Amazing. This story is found in the book of Daniel, chapter 30. Daniel, chapter 30. And I guess guys can read it at home. Memory verse. The memory verse is so easy. It's like easy peasy. Psalms 56, verse 3.
Psalm 56,
56
verse 3.
You guys want to say it with us? Psalms 56, verse 3. Let's say it together.
Psalms 56, verse 3.
And it says, when I am afraid, I will trust in you. Yeah? You guys want to say it with us? When I'm afraid, I will trust in you. These guys were afraid. They trusted in God, and God came through for them. Time for
Shout out!
yeah. And today we want to shout out first of all to somebody really important. You tasted their honey. Remember? That was
Marigat Gold.
Mary got you. Mary got gold. Thank you so much. Your honey is amazing.
Steph. I want to shout out to Steph.
I want to shout out to Precious.
Hi, Abby.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you want us to give you a shout out, all you need to do is comment down here. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.